Assalamu alaikum students. This is your course instructor Rao Aisha Sadiq from Department of English, University of Southern Punjab, Multan. Feminism in Baptist was Ice Candy Man. This is our today's topic. This lecture explores the profound feminist themes woven into Baptist Edwards' acclaimed novel, Ice Candy Man, also known as Cracking India. Through a close examination of its narrative and its characters, we will uncover how Sidhwa masterfully illuminates the experiences of women during the harrowing partition of India. It's challenging the patriarchal norms and advocating for a world free from gender-based oppression. So, student, feminism, if we see at its core, is the belief in the advocacy for the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. It challenges patriarchal structures that historically grant men disproportionate power and privilege, seeking to dismantle systems of oppression that marginalize female, that marginalize women. It's a movement that recognizes the diverse experiences of women and it strives for liberation from all forms of gender-based discrimination. So, Baptist Sidhwa in this novel, a pioneering figure in South Asian literature, Bapsi is a celebrated Parsi women writer, as we already discussed in the previous lecture. She holds the distinction of being one of the first and foremost Pakistani female novelists to address the traumatic events of the 1947 partition of India. So, student, her work is renowned for its insightful portrayal of social issues, cultural complexities, and the lives of women in tumultuous time. Her unique perspective, rooted in her Parsi heritage and personal experiences, adds a layers of richness to her narrative. Ice Candyman, as already discussed, it's a Cracking India. Cracking symbolizes the partition of India as a seminal work that offers us a powerful feminist lens on the devastating impact of the 1947 partition in women. Are normally the major victim of all the wars and atrocities are females and the very fabric of human dignity. It's a testament to Sidhwa's courage in tackling sensitive historical events through a deeply personal and gendered perspective. If we see it from the perspective of the partition and a patriarchy, the division of British India into Pakistan and India for 1947, it triggered one of history's most brutal communal riots. This period was marked by, as we already know, being the student of a history, that a widespread violence, forced migration, and unspeakable atrocities among the chaos. Women often bore the brunt of the violence. They became the targets of brutal sexual assault, abduction, and forced conversion, transforming their bodies into battleground for communal hatred and honor. If we see the pre-partition Indian society, that was deeply rooted in patriarchal tradition, even in today's Pakistani society is patriarchal, or that already marginalized women. They were often confined to the domestic roles. They were subjected to rigid social customs and denied to agency. This partition exacerbated this subjugation, rendering women even more vulnerable and exposed to exploitation. Their voices were largely silenced and their experiences often overlooked in the broader historical narrative, reducing them to mere victims rather than individuals with their own stories of resilience and suffering. So, students, Baptist Sidhwa masterfully employs the perspective of Leni, an astute and observant 8-year-old Parsi girl, as her primary narrator. Leni's innocent yet piercing gaze allows for an unfiltered, often disquieting view of the escalating communal tension and, most crucially, the gendered violence unfolding around her. Her limited understanding of adult complexities ironically amplifies the raw brutality and dehumanization women endure, offering a unique and powerful lens through which to comprehend comprehend the human cost of partition that was actually borne by the female bodies. This narrative choice provides a critical distance, allowing the reader to confront the horrors without explicit sensationalism, yet feeling the profound impact on the lives of women. Sidhwa's women are not just mere passive victims, they are complex figures. They navigate unimaginable circumstances. Their stories highlighting both the brutal suppression they face and their inherent drive to survive. So, throughout the novel, women are portrayed as survivors, forced to endure the most horrific forms of sexual violence, displacement, and profound social humiliation. Their resilience in the face of such adversity is a central theme. It highlights their inner strength, and even when physically and emotionally they are scared, they are scarred, they are tortured. The character of Aya is one of the fascinating example. Lenny is beautiful and vivacious nanny. She becomes the tragic symbol of female vulnerability and exploitation during the communal riots. Her abduction and her subsequent forced marriage encapsulate the widespread sexual violence against women, where their bodies became tools for revenge and a symbol of honor to be defiled or appropriated by opposing factions. Her story is a poignant representation of countless women who suffer similar fates, their lives irrevocably altered by the brutality of the partition. Through Lenny's innocent yet increasingly perspective eyes, the reader witnesses the systematic reduction of women to sexual objects. She observes how women are not just victims of violence but also bearers of immense social shame, often ostracized or deemed impure after their ordeal. This societal judgment adds another layer of suffering to their already traumatic experiences, highlighting how patriarchal norms perpetuate their victimization even after the physical violence season. And there are a lot of examples there where when we fight, the families do not accept that women. Lenny's inability to fully grasp the adult world makes the atrocities all the more stark, all the more brutal. Many female characters after experiences horrific events or even often rendered silent. Their trauma too profound to articulate or their voices suppressed by a society that prefers to overlook or deny their suffering. If you read the feminism as a theoretical framework, as a theory, we have the Gayatri Spivak's model. She speaks about the Spartans. If we see women from the perspective of Spartan, so their voices are given agency. This silence itself becomes a powerful commentary on the systematic suppression of women's experiences during and after the partition. So dear students, Sidhwa doesn't just depict individual acts of violence, she meticulously dissects the systematic patriarchal structure that enable and perpetuate women's subjugation. Our novel starkly portrays how men assert their dominance through brutal assaults on women. This violence is not just merely incidental to the communal riot, it is a deliberate act to fulfill base desires, to demonstrate power, and to punish or dishonor the opposing community through the violation of its women. So women are the symbol of honor for male community, and we see the honor killings in our country Pakistan too. The male characters often see women as a property or extension of their communal identity, making them the prime target, the prime objects in a conflict fueled by toxic masculinity. Beyond direct violence, Sidhwa exposed social structures that enforce women's subjugation. This includes the pervasive practice of forced marriages. Even forced marriages are still practiced in our subcontinent, even in our country Pakistan too, where women are traded or married off against their will, often for political or economical expediency. However, if we see from the religious perspective, it doesn't allow that one. Gender bias is deeply embedded in everyday life, manifesting in unequal treatment, limited opportunities, and the constant threat of public shaming. Most insidious is the silencing of women's voices, where their experiences, sufferings, and perspectives are dismissed, ignored, or actively suppressed, maintaining a narrative dominated by male perspective. If you remember an essay by Virginia Woolf, A Rooms of One's Own, what was there? Their whole history of Western was silence about the women's contribution. Baptist Edwards' narrative is an incisive critique of this, the traditional roles that rigidly confine women within the four walls. She challenges the societal expectations that demand women be docile, be submissive, and primarily oriented towards marriage and childbearing. So, student, by showing the destructive consequences of these during a crisis like partition, Sidhwa brings before our eyes and powerfully advocates for women's autonomy, self-determination, and their right to justice, demanding a re-evaluation of societal norms that disempower them. Despite the pervasive victimization depicted, Sidhwa ensures that her female characters are not merely passive recipients of suffering. They exhibit remarkable strength, resilience, and an unwavering quest for identity and self-preservation, often subtly, sometimes overtly. We see the characters of Lenny's mother, and even the character of Godmother and Aya too. They are not just submissive. They are not just subjected to horrific violence and displacement. They have their agency too. They are empowered. Sidhwa's female characters demonstrate an astonishing capacity for survival. They find ways to adapt, to rebuild their shattered lives, and to nurture hope. This resilience speaks to an inherent strength that transcends their immediate circumstances, transforming them from mere victims into enduring spirits, capacity to preserve against all odds. Lenny, as the child narrator, inadvertently embodies a nascent form of feminist resistance. Her innocent yet persistent questioning of adult world, particularly the hypocrisy and the violence she observes. She challenges the prevailing male idealism and societal norms regarding gender roles. So, Lenny is the mouthpiece of Sidhwa, who is advocating for the rights of women. She observes how the men around her, despite their claims of protecting women, often fail to do so, or even become perpetrators. Her innocent voice provides a stark contrast to the complexities and complicity of the adult world, subtly undermining patriarchal authority. So, Sidhwa's women, though constrained, assert their independence in various ways, whether through subtle acts of deviance, seeking refuge, forming bonds of solidarity, and even through their sheer will to survive, they resist total subjugation. And for this perspective, the key characters, like the women who choose to return to their original communities despite being dishonored, make powerful statements about reclaiming agency and identity, breaking free from the oppressive customs and expectations imposed upon them by a patriarchal society. So, dear student, this novel is a rich tapestry, women with multifaceted feminist themes, offering a powerful critique of gender inequality in times of crisis and beyond. And Sidhwa has vividly portrayed how women are subjugated to severe gender discrimination, not only through physical violence, but also through their constant objectification, as their bodies become sites of male control and communal honor, reducing them to mere commodities. So, what is next important for you students. You have to cover, you have to read and analyze by applying the feminist literary criticism on the character of Lenny and the character of Aya, the character of godmother, and even the character of Lenny's mother, who was a strong female character depicted by Bapsi Sidhwa. This is the task that I am giving you. So open your books, open the text of Cracking India or the Ice Candy Man, and read these female characters from the perspective of female resilience, from the feminist lens, from the lens of Gayatri Spivak, Helen Sigzo, and other female theorists, and explore them, how Bapsi Sidhwa portray us these issues of females. Till then, till the second lecture, I am signing off. See you in next lecture. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.